Oh, hot damn, look who's got another book haul. The good thing about this book haul, the good thing about these books is that I'm not even introing this. I'm just going straight in. Welcome. Hi. I have a book haul here for you today. The good thing about these books, this book haul, is that this is pretty much like a Goosebumps book haul. All of these books I could finish in like 20 minutes a piece because I think we've been through this a couple of times. And probably one of the other book hauls that where I talk about it, would explain it more. But yeah. Also, my new hockey jersey. I've been getting back into hockey, and I've been getting into the New Jersey Devils, and mostly you can kind of see. You can see the number. You can see the number. Come on. That's what I've been doing lately. It's because he looks like how I picture Ashton. I'm not gonna lie, from Lost Boys. The first time I saw like a picture of him, I was like, oh, that's Ashton. Anyway, the first one, I've got a couple of arcs. I've got a bunch of children's books, sort of. Some Christopher Pike. I think that's pretty much it. So let's get going. First up, I've got an arc of Wolfpack by Amelia Brunskill, which is, I believe, in verse. So that's super fast. This says Wilder Girls, which I've read, meets We Were Liars, which I've read. And the suspenseful novel about a knot of teenage girls living in a cult, and the suspicion that emerges one of them goes missing. This came out in June. This looks pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. I think I heard some buzz about this. I'm not sure. Yeah, I got this. I've also got A Tale of Two Princes by Eric Jaron, which is about these two guys, one of whom is a prince and one of whom is like not. But they meet, and I think it's kind of like a Prince and the Pauper almost retelling, except for they're both gay. Is what I'm getting from this. Got this down here. So yeah, this came out in January, so it's been out for a while. I've got Straight Expectations by Callum McSquiggan, which is an interesting fucking premise. Okay. This came out this month or is coming out this month. It's September 16th, by the way. By the time this video goes up, this will be long out. This is an interesting premise. So this is about this guy who's openly gay. And he, like, what happens? He wishes that he had never been friends with his friend, but also he, like, completely, like, it like comes true, be here for what you wish for thing, but he's also like suddenly straight, which is such an interesting concept to me. I'm not gonna lie. If the author was not gay, there's no way they'd get away with this sort of concept. I don't know, it looks interesting. It looks really interesting. And the last arc I have is All the Fighting Parts by Hannah V. Sawyer, and this is another one that is in verse. It looks really interesting. So yeah, it's about the terribleness of the church. I love that shit. I hate the church. So that's awesome. These next couple are two that I got a lot of these books for my classroom, but we already had the first two, so I just like brought the last four, and that are the first two fucking Dogman books. One reason I mainly got this is because I want to be able to relate to all of these 10-year-old boys who love these books to death, because they are so fucking popular. And then, yeah, so I've got these. These are too recent for me. I was long past this man when these were coming out. I do remember Captain Underpants though when I was a kid. That shit's been around for a while. But yeah, then I've got some Goosebumps. All right, first up, I've got this selection of short stories. I don't know which ones are in this one. This one is kind of falling apart, which is sad. But you know what? I got the Chalk Closet, Home Sweet Home. Oh, I haven't read this one, but I have read the Blogger Beware recap of this one, and apparently, if I remember correctly, this is a good one, so that's awesome. They've got a series 2001, Cry the Cat, which again, I don't think I've read this one, but again, I read the Blogger Beware recap. I'm so sad that website is kind of defunct now. I have a link to it yet on the Wayback Machine. If you go to its TV Tropes page, you can find that. But it's if you're into Goosebumps and you have not read the Blogger Beware blog, like front to back, it is so funny. I love it so much, and every time I reread a Goosebumps book, I go back and reread that entry. He stopped after like the 2000. I think he did a couple of the Horrorland books, maybe. But he's been done for a while, and like the the blog has been eaten up again by the internet, but you can find it through the Wayback Machine. But yeah, no. Again, I don't think I read this one, but I did read the Blogger Beware article. If I remember right, Cat Tornado. I got a couple Christopher Pikes. I've got The Ancient Evil, which I read. Fun fact, and until I started teaching, I did not realize how abnormal my reading level was. Because when I was in second grade, I was homeschooled. Because I was not emotionally ready for school. Mentally, like scholastically, I was there, but like emotionally, I was very, very shy, and I was terrified of my teacher and all that stuff. So I was homeschooled. And I ended up spending a lot of time because my mom helped out my grandmother who ran a daycare. Because I had a little brother who was like 4 at the time. I was 7. And we go to my grandmother's house. And my grandmother, my mom was really young when she had me. She was 19. I was born in 1997. And so my mom's the second of 5 children. So my grandma had a lot of old 80s teen paperbacks, horror paperbacks in her basement. Keep in mind, I was 7. And I didn't realize how shit at reading 7-year-olds are until I started teaching. But I was reading this book. This is one of the books that I read. I read this when I was a second grader. I didn't realize how normal that was until I started teaching. I was like, yeah, no, they're like for kids. No, the fuck they are not. This is for teenagers. This is for like a 15-year-old. But yeah, happy to reread. If I remember right, my best character, my favorite character, gets burned alive in this one, if I'm remembering correctly. And then I've got a Christopher Pike book that I haven't read. It is Weekend. The tagline here is by Sunday they were just trying to stay alive, which sounds like a whole hell of a lot of fun. Oh my god, they're going to Mexico. Oh geez, explosion. Awesome. This is quite a bit thicker than some other Christopher Pike books that I've seen, which is awesome. I love that. So yeah, we got this, and then we got some more Goosebumps. We've got The Girl Who Cried Monster, which is a classic. We've got a Hall of Horrors one. I've never heard of the Hall of Horrors ones. Actually, these ones, because there were just so many goddamn series that came out. So many Goosebumps series. I think, are we on Slappy World still? Or did they finish Slappy World? I don't even know. But I have the 4th Hall of Horrors book, which is why I quit zombie school. No clue when the Hall of Horrors came out. When did this come out? Let me see when this came out. This came out in 2011, so I don't know. I got some Horrorland, which is Monster Blood for breakfast, and Monster Blood was my original favorite like mini-series within the Goosebumps series. Like, I love the Monster Blood books so much. I know a lot of people didn't like them because Evan was super annoying. Fun fact, in the French version of Goosebumps, his name is Christophe, which is hilarious, but I really liked them, and so I'm excited to read about Monster Blood, even if it's not about Evan and Andy, the 2 characters in Goosebumps that had the most sexual tension ever. All right, Most Wanted. We've got Frankenstein's Dog, which is horrifying and weird. We got that. And I've also got Night of the Puppet People, which looks fun. When did the Most Wanted books come out? Let me see this. When did this? When was this a thing? 2015. I cannot keep up with this man. This man's a menace. Some more classics. Speaking of Monster Blood, Monster Blood 3. I'm pretty sure this edition is way bit nicer than my current edition that I have. I know I have a current edition because if you do not know, I'm collecting these original edition Goosebumps, and also any of the new series too. I'm just a freak about it now. But the original series, mostly in the original editions, because I like, they're just so much better. I just like them a lot more. Monster Blood 3 is probably the weakest of, see, here's the thing. I feel like I used to have Monster Blood 4. I never read it, and it was always in the book wall, but it just disappeared somewhere along the line, and it's not even on my book wall spreadsheet anymore, so I don't know what happened to it, or if I just imagined it. I'm sad if I had it and I lost it somewhere, because it's the very last book in the original Goosebumps series, and it's super expensive if you find it online. So I don't know where it went. So I think of Monster Blood as a trilogy, but I think it's not, right? Like, there's a 4th Monster Blood book. I've just never read it. But I think this is the weakest one out of the trilogy, or out of the 3 that I've read. It's still fun though. I love it. Shocker on Shock Street, another classic. Again, I know this is much nicer than my copy. My copy is literally falling apart because it's one that I had when I was a child. Yeah, this is really fun with one of the one of the weirdest twists. Like, it's awesome. And then these ones I went back and forth on because they are the TV episodes, which means I'm pretty sure they're like an abridged version with some pictures inside from the TV episode. So I've got The Girl Who Cried Monster, which I actually had this book when I was a kid, and also The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. So these, like I said, the two of these together is the same length as one Goosebumps book. So I believe they're just abridged versions of the books that kind of cut out whatever the TV episode cut out. And like I said, I was kind of going back and forth on this, but I'm a collector at this point. This one, another one, it's also Ghosts of Fear Street. I stopped collecting the mostly ghostly books because I realized that they were bad, not in the fun way. But Ghosts of Fear Street I'm still doing. I also read these as a kid. For some reason in my head, they were always like more, like they were scarier than Goosebumps books, but I don't think they were. I think I just thought of them as that because they were just different. This one I did have as a kid. I had, this is Hide and Shriek. This is the first one. I'm very happy to have it again because it is, if I remember, it's just fun. Like, yeah, I don't know. And then one that I know I do not have is A Night in Terror Tower. I had this one as a kid. I did. But it disappeared somewhere along the way. This one takes a weird historical note. It's so cool. If I'm remembering right, it is so cool. I love the cover. This one is a classic and a good one. And then I've got some more Christopher Pike. I've got the Remember Me trilogy. I've read the second book. I haven't read the first or the third, but now I have Remember Me 2, The Return, and Remember Me 3, The Last Story. Like I said, I've read the second book, and it was pretty meh, but I've heard that the first book is actually kind of dark. I mean, obviously it's dark, but I heard the first book is actually like kind of like interesting, kind of controversial. So there's that. My guess would be expect one more before we all go into effect, because I know I've got some on my file cabinet right now. And I've got YA Fantasy thing, and I've got one pre-order. I think that's it. But we're almost done. Like I said, the last one, the light, I can see it, you know. Maybe. Or maybe it's just a hallucination. But yeah, that's where we're at now. That's everything. That's all. I'll talk to you later. Bye.